They're saying that the smear campaign is still going on. Hi and welcome to Blossom Talk. I'm Shashti Flo, and here on my channel I talk about my good and bad experiences in Hollywood working as an entertainment reporter, and as you know, a lot about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's legal feud. And I'm sure you noticed already, I'm in a new studio. I just finished this yesterday, or I didn't do it. We hired someone to do that, but I really like it. Let me know what you think. I think maybe this plan has to go. I'm not sure. It looks a little fake, but let me know if you have any ideas of how I can make it the best studio ever. The lighting as well is making my hair look a different color for some reason, and I'm trying to get rid of this shine here. But anyways, I will keep you updated on everything that you need to know about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's legal drama. So Blake Lively's team keep writing the judge, I think probably 3 to 4 times a day at this point. And every time they're just asking the judge for new favors. I thought this was quite interesting. This is a letter that they wrote. I think this was written yesterday. And they're saying that Justin Baldoni's team is not cooperating with giving them the evidence that they're looking for. They're looking for evidence in regards to the alleged smear campaign, and they're saying that they're not cooperating with them. And interestingly enough, they're saying that the smear campaign is still going on. So Blake Lively's team was asking for communication going over a much longer period of time than what actually Baldoni's team have been offering them. They're saying that they can give them communications from June 2024 to December 2024. But Blake Lively's team now also want to see communications after 2024. So this year as well. So since Blake Lively filed that lawsuit, against Justin Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties, and her team is saying here that Jennifer Abel, the publicist, and Melissa Nathan from TAG, the crisis management team that Baldoni hired, none of them have given Blake Lively's team what they want so far. I'm thinking that they have everything that they need from Jennifer Abel. They did actually take her phone and everything that was on there. So what they're looking for now, I don't know. It is also said that Blake Lively's team had access to Jennifer Abel's iCloud. But I guess if they find something there after 2025, they can't really use it because that shows that they were actually looking into her iCloud. They're basically saying that the Wayfarer parties haven't given them enough. They want more. They want to find this evidence. And as I said so many times before, and as I'm sure all of you know by now, there was no smear campaign. So Ryan and Blake are still alleging a coordinated defamation campaign against them involving planting negative stories in the press. So they want the Wayfarer to show their communications with different journalists. We know that there's been one journalist from the Daily Mail who has now come out and said that things were kind of a misunderstanding. But, they had communications going back and forth, I'm sure, with some journalists where they were trying to plant good stories about Baldoni. Maybe they were trying to plant bad stories about Blake Lively. But then again, Blake Lively's team was definitely doing the same thing. Like I said before, who planted that story that Blake Lively was fat shamed? Who was at that meeting knowing about what was going on? That was a meeting that took place in Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' apartment, and there were very few people there. So, of course, it was someone from Blake Lively's team who planted that story in TMZ last summer. And the same thing goes for that story where Blake Lively had said that Justin Baldoni's kiss lingered for too long. Well, interestingly enough, now that Justin Baldoni's lawsuit is dismissed, I don't know if he's ever going to be able to see Blake Lively's team communication with journalists because they should be asking the same thing. Because as I said, we definitely know they planted stories about Justin Baldoni for sure. So I was thinking, couldn't they just say that this is all the evidence we have? But if they do that under oath, saying that this is all the evidence that we have, that could be troublesome if someone hasn't been completely honest. And I'm sure if you look into Jennifer Abel's and Melissa Nathan's text messages in 2025, I'm sure they're not saying great things about Blake Lively to their friends or colleagues. So I think maybe that's one of the reasons why they don't want to share their communications that they had in 2025. I don't know. So Blake Lively's team also wants to see the communication with content creators that they're saying that Wayfair and Baldoni's team had. I wonder who these content creators are supposed to be in their eyes. Again, they're just out fishing for something they're not going to find. There are some paperwork attached, some exhibits saying that Jed Wallace was actually hired by Baldoni's team or Wayfair to help them solve this PR crisis they were going through. But it doesn't say anything specific about what he's going to do to help them. Yeah, so now they're asking for this motion to compel to be granted by the judge. So these people have to collaborate. I don't understand why this isn't just the case anyways, that you just have to give up the information that you have. The legal system baffles me a little bit from time to time. And I think there's just so many letters back and forth, making sure that the lawyers get richer and richer, because I think this is so unnecessary. Either you show the evidence or you don't. You don't have to write letters back and forth to the judge saying, now they don't show the evidence that we're saying. I think we're just seeing parts of it. You have to tell them to show us everything. I think there should just be a rule that you share information that you have, and that's it. But I think it's quite interesting that they're still accusing them of this smear campaign. And they're saying that they're likely continuing to spread negative stories about Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. I think they're definitely managing to do that themselves at this point. So Blake Lively's lawyer is pointing out that it's very suspicious that they're not giving up all this information, especially because much of the alleged defamation happened after December 2024, and the vagueness makes it look like there's something to hide. Well, I think that this camp, Baldoni's camp, had enough after Blake Lively filed that lawsuit and they were all, dragged into this legal drama. Why would they spend time and effort into smearing Blake Lively in the media? I think they have enough on their plate. And this is just like so narcissistic as well. Like, oh, you're still smearing me. Oh, you're still spending time on doing this. And that's also why I'm still not popular, because you guys are smearing me. No, Blake Lively, you are smearing yourself. And there's more documents. Stay tuned. So, um, the judge has now ruled that all that information that this third-party company found when they started investigating, remember I spoke about that a while ago, when Blake Lively filed her CRD complaint at the Civil Rights Department in California in December, the Wayfair parties hired a third-party company to investigate into everyone involved in the movie It Ends With Us to see if any of her allegations were actually true. And they've been saying, and the company they hired have been saying, that the Wayfair parties have not even had access to this information themselves. But Blake Lively's team wanted to see what this company has found out by talking to everyone involved. And of course, that would be terrible for everyone that was interviewed and thought that this was an interview that was privileged and that no one would ever know that they've been talking to this company. That's how it works when you are investigating a toxic workplace. If you're doing that and then they're like, oh, we have to tell your boss everything that you said to us. That's awful. So the judge said that Blake Lively is denied to actually have access to these reports that no one has seen yet, and nothing is published about these reports. I don't know if anyone's going to see them ever. It doesn't make much sense to make them. So yeah, you could say that is a little win for Baldoni, but then again, the judge says that Baldoni's team is not allowed to use anything they find in this investigation against Blake Lively or in their legal or in this lawsuit whatsoever. So everything that they find out when they speak to all these people that worked out It Ends With Us, the set, they can't use it. So Blake Lively's front lawyers, Ezra Hudson and Mike Gottlieb, gave a statement to Us Weekly. They're out giving statements left and right, by the way. And they're always saying when Brian Friedman is out giving a statement, they're like, oh, this is just for clicks and headlines and whatever. Anyways, they're saying to Us Weekly about this that Wayfair was legally obligated to investigate the concerns raised by Blake Lively and others about the on-set conduct of Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heat as far back as May 2023. Among other claims, Ms. Lively sued Wayfair specifically for its failure to conduct such an investigation, an independent cause of action under California law and the sixth cause of action in her amended complaint. So they're saying that they didn't conduct this investigation when they were supposed to. They waited until after she had filed this complaint, and she said that they should have done this much earlier on. Anyways, on a lighter note, comedian and actress Whitney Cummings did a podcast the other day where she was talking about Blake Lively, and she made this this rant about how Blakely is like everybody's mom. And yeah, it was quite funny.
Is Blake Lively all of our moms? Think about it. She wears patterns that don't match. She makes bad jokes that are always like a little too mean. Her hair's always messy. She wears way too many bracelets and crazy ass earrings that like make noise. Like she has to like be the center of attention at all times, even when she's not talking. Like it's gotta be clanging. She sends texts at 2 a.m. that make no sense. She's never with her kids. This is literally my mom. And when you call her out on something, she's like, that's not what happened. That's not what I said. And you just give up.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone has a mom like that. I've seen moms like that. Luckily, I did not have a mom like that. My mom was very, very different. She was a very caring and very forgiving person. But anyways, I thought that was quite funny. And thank you again for all your engagement and for sending me so many amazing tips. And I hope you love my new studio. And as I said, it's a work in progress. So if there's anything that you feel like I should do different in here, maybe I'll put Oscar in the corner there next time. Let me know in the comment section. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Flawsome Talk. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.